Yeah. So what I had to do was, after I was like, here's what I want, here's my symptoms, talk to the nurse, and then she sent me the rec to get blood work. Got the blood back, and they made me an appointment for Wednesday with their doctor that they have on site or whatever.
Did she go over like blood markers with you?
Not yet.
Okay.
I think he's going to do that.
Right on. Yeah.
It was weird because my B12 was like through the roof.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, what's that? I was looking it up.
Usually that's low for everybody, man.
Yeah, it really tripped me out because I Googled it. It's like high B12.
Yeah.
It's like fucking leukemia, like all these things, right?
Of course, dude.
I was like, fuck. And Pam like pulled out my supplements because I take a bunch of shit. She's like, let's have a look here. B12. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I take like a fuckload of shit.
Nice. Well, I mean, yeah, like some people just have like critically low levels of B12 all the time, and they got to get injections of it, right? So
you were mentioning that you had to get a B12 injection.
No, not injection, just a supplement, you know, like, or just like a pill with like with just a B complex, you know, supplement, which I haven't been taking. I forgot until you mentioned, you know, so yeah, I should get back on that, you know, but it seems like the B complex, vitamin D, some kind of fish oil, zinc, magnesium, and B6 at night.
Okay.
You know, that's really good for sleep quality, and recovery. Magnesium and zinc, like that really like feeds your nuts apparently at night. So increases testosterone production. Yeah. So it's, you know, it was branded as ZMA, the same guy that was helping Barry Bonds cheat back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name? Victor Conte. He came up with this ZMA stuff because zinc is really good for increasing testosterone, but it's also difficult to absorb. So the B6 helps with that apparently, and you know, magnesium's good for muscles and all that shit. So when you take it at night, like it'll, they usually have like the supplement company that my missus works for. They got like a Build PM, Jack Factory, a Build PM I take, or Transparent Labs, ZMO they call it, and it'll have like melatonin in it as well, along with the zinc, magnesium, and B6. So it just gives you a good quality sleep, I find. You know, helps you get to sleep quicker with the melatonin or whatever else they got in it. You know,
pick that up.
Yeah, I've been taking it forever. You know, so that's kind of my staple. It's like, you know, a lot of vitamin D, especially living here, and where we had like 2 weeks of sunlight a year, and then I got to start taking the B complex one. Now I remember that, and then some fish oil, and the ZMA at night. What else do I take? I'm just trying to think here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know,
it's making me a bit anxious having this barrel pointing at me.
It's all good. Well, she's unloaded.
Yeah, no, I seen you.
Safety's on there.
Yeah, I seen you check the barrel and pull the trigger. I know it's empty. It's just in my.
Yeah, it's good to have the chamber open. You know, if it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I actually take I take NMN, like the precursor to NAD+.
Okay.
I take Fidogio, Grestis, and Tonkat for testosterone, and magnesium.
Tonkat.
Yeah. It's like,
is that some kind of like Chinese horsetail or something?
It's the semen of a lion.
That'd
be amazing.
Yeah. Or like, what is it, the rhino horn? Like,
yeah,
you know, they take
grind it up. Fucking no, it's
they kill some majestic rhino, saw its horn off, and you know, and then sell it as like dick pills.
Yeah,
know?
To some fucking rich little wiener dude.
Yeah.
No, it's like Huberman. I don't even know. I think I heard it last year because I've been basically on like looking at TRT. It's interesting. You know, I'm getting a bit older. I like to stay active, and
Mm.
he was like, he's like, you can raise your testosterone by a lot just taking these two things. And Huberman's pretty on the mark. Like he's not
Right.
a snake oil guy.
Yeah.
And so I've been taking that. My fucking on the Fidogio Aggressus, my balls got fucking huge. Like it was, I was
Yo.
like sitting on them. It was like, but
Sitting on your nuts like Randy.
oh man, it was wild.
It's like South Park Randy.
Yeah,
You ever
yeah.
see that? Like they got that episode where he's
Fucking going
I think he
around with
microwaved his nuts and his nuts got huge and he's like
That's right.
bouncing around with his own nuts.
Yeah,
That's
so
so
you get legal
funny.
weed. Yeah, walking around with them in a fucking wheelbarrow.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was taking that, but the only thing is I found it.
Big nuts are bad for jiu-jitsu too.
They are. They'll twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Jeff about it because I think he mentioned it. Anyway, we got talking about it. I was like, man, my fucking balls,
Yeah.
like they, you know.
Yeah, you need that combat cock that just that it just shrivels up.
Shrivels right in. It's good to be a grower in jiu-jitsu for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But I found that like I felt great, but like it just wasn't consistent. It's like my body was like, okay, this is foreign, and like I couldn't get the same effect.
Yeah.
But so I'll stop for like 3 months and then go on it again.
Mm.
And I tried what was that? Like the SERM or whatever.
Okay.
Peptides.
Yeah.
I had BPC. No, MK667. It's like a growth hormone thing, and
Yeah.
that never really did anything for me.
Yeah, I don't know a bunch about SARMs. I think the problem is nobody really knows a bunch about them. They were like a research drug or peptide, whatever, and so they weren't illegal. You go like I think for a period of time you could buy them online, and like a lot of teenagers were using them instead of using steroids because they were originally they were going to be designed, or they had hoped to be a replacement for steroids that weren't as taxing on your body.
Yeah.
Didn't cause like any kind of side effects, but you know, there doesn't seem to be any kind of biological free lunch with that stuff. You know?
No, and they're so new that they never really got the testing. Like people have been doing TRT injections,
right?
And, you know,
and the whole hormone or the growth hormone thing. I think kind of the scary thing about this or about growth hormone is that it grows everything. So like cancer cells, like if you're predisposed to cancer, then it'll accelerate like cancer.
Yep.
I might have just made that up, but
no, you are right.
Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah, you are right. Your brain, your heart, your organs.
Right.
This was like, so I did a bunch of reading because I don't fuck around with that shit. And basically, it's not like you're taking human growth hormone. It's just producing more ghrelin, which makes you naturally produce more growth hormone.
It also makes you hungry.
It makes you hungry. I was eating like crazy.
Yeah.
And my sleep was pretty good.
Yeah.
But again, it was like a thing where it's like, this kind of felt off after a while. But I got in my own head because I got it from this lab.
Yeah.
But they had a nice website, you know, and I read on Reddit and people were like, I've got stuff from there. But
right.
when I was like, hey, is it safe to like take this whatever? And like, they didn't get back to me. I was like, oh, fuck.
Who didn't get back to you?
The lab. It's just like company, you know?
Yeah, because they'll they don't want to put it on paper that they give you any kind of advice whatsoever because they probably said it was not for human consumption because it's a test. It's like a test drug or whatever, like the SARMs, because they're still all under testing.
So that scared me.
Yeah.
So I just stopped.
Yeah, I know. There's a guy's YouTube channel that I watch, or I used to watch all the time. I haven't been watching it lately at all, but More Plates, More Dates. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah. Derek.
Yeah. So he's like a fucking encyclopedia on all that stuff.
He is,
you know? So, and I think he was mentioning one of the SARMs in mouse or some kind of rat testing that it caused cancer or something like that. not the MK one, like the growth hormone, but there was like another one as well. So it had some like negative effects,
Jesus.
but then also at the same time, um, just because it causes cancer in a rodent doesn't necessarily mean it's going to cause cancer in a human either, because um, they have such short lifespans as well that things can kind of like it just not everything is transferable. You know what I mean? From
Yeah.
human to like or cross like species like that. Like a lot of the initial testing on fasting was done on rodents, and so the benefits for fasting were kind of for people were blown out of proportion a little bit. I think I might be making that up, but I'm thinking
It makes
I
sense.
think I remember that from because I used to fast all the time.
Yep.
I started with 16-hour fast every day, and then I eventually went down to a 4 hour or just a 4 hour eating window every day, so a 20-hour fast every day. And that hunger hormone that you mentioned before, ghrelin, that gets suppressed when you fast all the time.
Really?
So yeah, you just stop getting those hunger pains, and yeah, so. But then at the same time, I think it caused a little bit of an eating disorder for me, where in that 4 hour window, I would just pound food to get the calories in because I needed to. So I was used to eating these huge meals. And so then when I went back to just a normal kind of diet, um, it's like I wasn't satisfied unless I was just housing like a pile of food. Right.
So
So
did you have like major weight gain after you stopped doing it?
no, it was just like, uh, when did I do it? I probably, because I tried every kind of diet um, back in the day when I was focused on like a lot of weightlifting, and I was thinking about being a bodybuilder for a while, but you know how that is. That's it's kind of fun um, to train for, but then when you try to wrap your head around getting in a speedo or a thong and walking on stage in front of people
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and hitting poses, like like just the whole idea of like being on stage and being like, and people are like, yeah, it's it's so like weird,
Great dick.
but it's kind of hilarious. It's kind of a funny thing to do, Like I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of bodybuilders that understand that it's kind of a crazy thing to be at, uh, but and they don't take it that serious, but um, and they kind of like lean into the whole, yeah, like it's pretty hard to be um, to do that and not come off as a narcissistic,
Yeah.
lunatic, you know. Um, I think a lot of guys watch Pumping Iron with Schwarzenegger, and he makes that look. He has so much charisma that he makes all that posing and stuff look so effortless. Now he put a shitload of work into it, but it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, And so not everybody's Arnold Schwarzenegger that can kind of get up on a stage and command the stage, and people are like, yeah, that guy's like pretty cool, It's you're kind of like a dope, and you look, you know what I mean. Um, so anyways, I was bodybuilding for a while and then trying out different kind of diets and trying to get as lean as possible. And like I'm like 235 right now, and like I think I got it as low as like 183 or something,
Wow.
or 185.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been uh, that weight since I was in like high school, and and that was like fasting where um, at the time I was a cell block supervisor in our jail cell in our detachment, and I'd like broken my hip from doing a big squat where there was so much tension on the bar that it caused an avulsion fracture in my hip, and the ligaments just cracked off a chunk of my hip.
Holy shit.
And yeah, just lifting too heavy, getting crazy, Um,
How much weight was that?
uh, I had a big squat at one point, like but I don't think the weight was an issue. I remember I probably had 4 plates on a side, but I used to rep out like I'd put like 405 pounds on, and rep that out for like high reps, get like 15 reps with that.
Wow.
But, 15 to 20, just, like squatting was always like something I was naturally good at. Even in high school, I had a big squat, and without really training for it. I think playing a lot of soccer and sprinting as a kid helped out with that. But um, I remember I listened to a podcast. It was, what podcast was it? Uh, it was a paleo podcast. I forget the guy's name now. Rob Wolf was his name. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Rob Wolf, but he had another guy that he did the podcast with, and they were talking about, if you're doing a lift, you should be. The guy was talking about like lifting for explosiveness, and he's like, you should be hitting that rep. Like when you go down, like blast through that rep. Power up with that rep. Now I'm paraphrasing what he said, like, and maybe I got it completely mixed up, but so I went. I would just load up, go down real slow, and then drive up as fast as I can to try to build that explosiveness. And had it loaded up, drove up, and from like a real deep depth, and just this audible like pop sound came. I heard it over my headphones at the time, or whatever. This is probably like in 2009 or 10 or something. And a couple of guys that were working out in the gym, who was in our detachment gym, they look over and they were like, "What was that?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And I was like, kind of like had that kind of giggle, like, where something painful happens. And then I was like, "I don't know." So I take couple plates off, and I do another couple of squats, and I'm like, "Oh, there's something weird going on," And then I took another plate off, did another few squats, and then 2 weeks later, where I'm having trouble putting on my socks, I'm like, "Fuck, like this is not getting better. I should like see if there's something going on here." So I go to the doctor and then get an X-ray done. Now I wasn't expecting him to come up with anything, but he's like, "Yeah, you broke your pelvis."
Holy
And I
fuck,
was like,
man.
"Fuck," So
Jesus.
so I had, and so they didn't operate on it. There was just like this piece of pelvic bone that was cracked off in my, in like this portion of my leg up here. The doc said, like, hopefully eventually your body will just kind of like forget about it, that it's there, and the pain will go away.
Okay.
I think your body will like wrap, or eventually like fascia will form around it or something like that, or whatever. But I'd pain there for years, and but in the meantime, I took a job to get off the road and just go down the cell block for a bit. So I'm like 25 years old, like managing like cell guards who are like in their 60s and stuff, and like they're coming into my office and like complaining about each other, and like ranting and raving, and I'm like, yeah, like just like acting like I gotta like act like I'm the boss, and it was, but the hours were sick. It was 10-hour shifts, Monday to Thursday, so it was 7 to 4, I think, were my shifts. So so it's a pretty good schedule, like Monday to Thursday, and then you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So with an easy schedule like that, it was really, really easy for me to like try out different diets, especially with the fasting thing. Because fasting when you're doing shift work is tough, and and then I wasn't like mobile or like going to calls or whatever. I was just kind of sitting behind the desk doing a lot of paperwork and stuff. So um, so yeah, I got into this intermittent fasting, and but yeah, it was easy to get lean on it, and I enjoyed it, but yeah, I feel like it eventually caused some issues with portion control after that.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
yeah, so I even tried. So I was like gluten free, dairy free. Uh, I tried being a vegan for about a year as well
How
at
was
one
that?
point. It wasn't too bad. I mean, back then it was, and especially when you're in like a northern place, like we had a Costco. This is now I was in BC at this point, but Costco carried some good stuff, but like very limited. When you're gluten free, as well as being a vegan. There's not a lot of choice there to eat. So like a lot of prep went into just meals, you know, a lot of time to get proper nutrition. But I never felt like I lost a step or anything until um, uh, like I was doing a lot of jujitsu back then.
Okay.
Until I was at a wedding, and this is a wedding near Edmonton, and it was on a big property and big nice field and whatnot. So as it happens, you know, when weddings get on the go and people are drinking and stuff, I got this guy who I worked with that was up my face. And he's like, "Man, yeah, Bear, do you think you're so fucking tough?" He's like, "I bet you can't take me down. How about we wrestle, you know?" And this guy was a lot older than me and not in shape. And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." I was like, I'll fuck you out. Sure. Like, no problem. But my jiu-jitsu gym at the time, we didn't do any wrestling. But you know, I was like, you know, I'll fuck this guy up. And so we're loaded, and I take my fucking shirt off, and we like square up in this field, and there's everybody in the wedding's watching, and I shoot in to take him down, and he stuffs it, and as he stuffs it, I drive my shoulder right into the dirt, and I separated my shoulder.
Holy
And
fuck.
and I was like, instantly. So it happened like that. He pins me. I'm on my back, like my shoulders like impinged like this, and it was so stupid, you know, so embarrassing. Just made a fool out of myself.
Everybody's there.
Yeah.
You're shirtless.
And like I didn't know most people at this wedding
Oh,
either,
man.
right? You know, so
Jesus.
but you know, so I'm like in pain, like probably need an ambulance, and just made a fool out of myself. And he felt like $1 million. And he messaged me like not too long ago, a couple of months ago, after he saw like a tournament win that I had,
Okay.
and he was like, yeah, I can still fuck you up, you know, just like, you know,
Motherfucker.
yeah. And but after that, I was like, you know, fuck this vegan stuff, because I had like one arm for a while, and it was just so easy just to crack an egg and, you know, and put some bacon on and do up a quick meal,
Yeah.
other than, you know, having to take the time with one arm to, you know, prep all these meals. It's just a pain in the ass. So I just fell off after that. But the best part about being a vegan was telling people that you're a vegan.
I've heard that.
And
Yeah.
watching them just be like, what? You know,
Why?
like, yeah, just like, you know, people would get so rattled. And
What made you choose it?
I just wanted to try it. And I was, at the time, I was in a long distance relationship. So I had a lot of time to myself. And when I just lived by myself, I could just eat whatever. Like I would eat like very basic, like no real variety. I didn't really care. And you know, when you're living with somebody else or you got a family, it's tough to just stick to one thing, or you know, or like most guys like to do, like keep it simple. But you know, your family's not going to put up with that, you know, obviously. So
when I first met Pam, I was like a year into keto, and I was like ripped. Like I had fucking abs.
Yeah.
And
nice.
It's funny because when I met Giles, he was 4, and like last year, he was like, "Do you remember when you had abs?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." It's like, not anymore, buddy. Yeah, it was, but like I loved it. Like I felt great.
Right.
Like, I could eat a steak. I did fasting too, because there's so much fat and protein that I was always full. Like I never felt hungry unless I was like actually hungry.
Right.
So like I just lost all my fat over the course of probably like 8 months.
Yeah.
And like so that made me feel really good. Like like all over.
Are you ready to elevate your podcast to remote meetings? Let me introduce you to Riverside, the ultimate platform for high-quality, professional remote recordings. It's the same trusted tool we use on the Mantle to bring you crystal clear interviews with our remote guests. With Riverside, you can capture studio-quality audio and video from anywhere in the world, making it a game changer for podcasters, content creators, and remote professionals. If you're ready to take your content to the next level, use our exclusive link in this episode's description to get started today. This episode is brought to you by Pump Less Clothing. Ready to unleash your inner beast? Pump Less is here to fuel your fire. With intense, no-holds-barred designs crafted for men who dominate in and out of the gym. Pump Less isn't just gear, it's a statement. Every piece is built for warriors who thrive on the grind and live for the pump. Whether you're smashing PRs or sculpting your legacy, Pump Less gives you the edge to look sharp and train harder. No excuses, no limits. Step into the intensity of Pump Less today. Gear up and show the world what you're made of. Visit pumpless.com to get their latest drops.
No, it felt fucking great. And you asked me earlier about the psilocybin. So I supplement by microdosing and stuff like that. But what it actually does for me. So the reason I started the podcast was for men's mental health. And probably like last year, I fucking just I've always kind of been anxious,
Right.
But I just popped, I just fucking
Right.
popped. It's might be TMI, but basically, so when I was growing up, I grew up in a narcissistic house where I couldn't be angry,
Right.
and I couldn't really have opinions.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So whenever I get angry, I just fucking swallow that shit down.
Yeah.
And it
Bottles up.
Exactly. And it bubbled up for fucking 30 years.
Mm.
And then I just can't let shit go at all.
Yeah.
One time I was working this bullshit job, and this guy was it was something about work where he's like, you didn't do this thing, and I was driving away, and I fucking turned around and drove back and came in and fucking ripped into him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah.
But no, so I basically I got this therapist, and he's in Texas, and he's straight shooter, call shit how it is. You're being a fucking idiot.
Yep.
That kind of shit.
Yep.
And just years of repressed anger.
Yeah.
And I was just getting more and more anxious. I always had a big group of buddies, and I was getting socially anxious and shit like that.
So how old were you when this started going down?
I was in my late 30s when it really came to a head.
How old are you now?
42.
Okay.
So last year it was I ended up going to anger camp, and they really, it's fucking super therapy where they really get in.
Yeah.
And it was eye-opening, but one thing was people there were what brings you at peace and all this stuff, and I was I've never fucking I'm what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then I started
Yeah.
and I'm thinking about it, I'm I don't think I'm capable of being at peace,
Right.
Even at meditation,
Yeah.
or whatever, I'm kind of jerking around. It's so basically what works for me is high protein is good for my brain, and I found the psilocybin really keeps me at a good base. And then kids are awesome, Pam's awesome, so that and all of that together, and figuring out what was going on really helped me cut the edge off it.
Yeah.
But I don't even think I could do jujitsu 4 years ago without being a dick. You know what I mean?
So much of that. Well, I mean, your physical health and mental health are intertwined for sure. And then when you get older, as your testosterone levels are dropping, that can cause irritability and anxiety. So you're looking into the TRT stuff to regulate your testosterone. I know that. But we got the same biological kind of makeup that we've had for thousands and thousands of years, and we're designed for a certain amount of hardship and physical work, and every day, pretty much, to do something physical every day. I mean, that's what our these vehicles are designed to do. And I think if you're not doing that, then especially with men, you tend to break down a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it's important to have that kind of whatever it is, something in your life that will help curb that anxiety, because like you might not be in today's day and age, you might be doing everything that you need to do to function in today's society, but your body knows something that's not right. There's something you're not exercising, or something's going on that you don't have an outlet for that natural kind of aggression that we have, and that bubbles up, bubbles over, and then leads to all kinds of issues.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I think I mentioned some of the physical stuff that I've had before, but I was never a guy that like really felt stressed out about anything. But that stress was manifesting itself in other ways physically, and like clenching my jaw a lot to the point where like my jaw is sore, and then I have a headache, and I got bruxism, my teeth are cracking, like for an example, and I'm wondering like what the heck is going on, and I'm always clenching my jaw. And I saw a therapist a while ago, and that was one thing that he said. He's like, relax your jaw, like focus on like when you need to calm down, just like let your jaw go slack. And it's not something you want to do in public, because you'll be like,
Yeah.
you'll look like a drool bag. And but be amazed at like just letting your jaw go slack, and then doing some box breathing, I think is what it's called, like that, like 4-second breath in, 4-second breath out, and like you regulate your breathing like that. Okay. And then all of a sudden you start kind of calming down a little bit. But those are like little techniques to help you out. But if it's kind of running away from itself, like it is with you, and then, or like with you, and then, and you need to try other means for like an intervention there, that's what you got to do. Like, that's really cool going to an anger camp, man. I like hearing that, like
Yeah.
that's, it's really commendable, because as a cop, like, you're dealing with people that have inability to regulate their emotions all the time, and their anger. And and most people just don't deal with it. It just escalates. And then the only thing that really de-escalates their anger is them fucking up and doing something outrageous, and then having to like, okay, like having that reality check where it straightens them out for another little bit until that issue arises again, and then they flip out, and then they need another reality check. And it's kind of this cycle of like getting in trouble and having outbursts, and then your family and everybody around you and your kind of hemisphere is affected by it. But yeah, I think it's like just I'm kind of being long-winded here with this, but the point I'm trying to make is like, with men in particular, in today's day and age, it's just not made up for us. It's just not designed for us to function how our bodies are designed to function, which then leads to all kinds of mental health issues.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like I feel bad when I see videos of guys like flipping out in public. It's like,
right,
you got to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
And I found that
Right.
like I know some sedentary dudes that are kind of like house cats,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
I'm sure they got their own shit on the go. But the best thing for me is like if I get a good workout in after it, that shit makes me feel good all day.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
those morning classes after like a couple heavy rolls.
Right.
It's like, oh
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
it's like one thing in jiu-jitsu, after you've had a bunch of rolls and stuff, like people are like so chatty after that too, because people like feel good after it, and they're able to kind of think clearer, and they're more open to, yeah, bullshitting with the boys, and
yeah.
and I think that's a lot of that is that physical kind of cleaning you do, at where you've reset your brain, and now you're good again.
Yeah.
So I'm like that. I remember years ago where I was in a car accident, and I messed my hip up, and I was bedridden for a while, so I couldn't work out, couldn't do shit. And I knew, I was like, this is gonna fuck me up. I was like, I'm probably gonna get fucking depressed, and it did. I got super depressed. So so yeah, I needed help after that to kind of get me out of that hole, you know. Um, but yeah, like that's the thing that I'm like very aware of my own kind of body, my own, um, you know, just how I work, is that I know that uh, if I'm down and out for a while, or if I'm sick, then there's going to be a mental kind of sickness that comes with that as well, that I'm going to have to contend with. Um, because like I rely so much on that kind of physical outlet, you know. So, uh, but
The
yeah,
where you were so physically in tuned, things messing up in the machine, you can definitely notice. I think too, like especially as a guy, like you got to work out, you got to do something, even if it's running or
hmm,
whatever, because you want to continue doing the thing that you were doing.
yeah,
And when those things get in the way, you're used to overcoming shit.
yeah,
You know, you bust your Achilles
yeah,
tendon or whatever, and then you rehab and you come
yeah.
back. You know, and
See like these old videos of like very old videos, like the oldest videos you can find, and you see people are like wiry,
yeah,
you know. They're very
yeah,
like, you know, you look at their face, and their faces are like very lean, and because they're like walking around all the time,
yeah.
you know, and they're working with their hands, and then, you know, whatever it is. um, and so um, they were getting a lot of that, you know. But regardless of, like, you know, now fitness is much more trendy than it was, you know, back in the day. But there was other things back in the day that supplemented that, you know.
Yeah.
So
Better food, and your like you said, your job was physical, and people, you know, a lot of people today are like, these people are so whiny, and like, sure, yeah,
yeah,
there definitely is a lot of whiny fucking people out there,
yeah,
but it's like they're not getting. If you're at your desk all day and then you get off and you get something to eat and then you fucking play video games all night,
yeah,
like that's crushing your fucking brain.
yeah,
Like you're not doing what your body needs.
yeah,
And they, like my grandfather was a fisherman. He was out pulling fucking lines up,
hmm,
you know, for 10 hours a day, like working with his hands, fucking chopping wood. Like you're
yeah,
getting all that shit out of your head, you know?
yeah. It's like you're boiling a pot on the stove, and it's bubbling over, and your solution for that bubbling over is not to turn down the temperature on what you're doing. It's just to put like a lid on the pot, you know. And that's what, like, playing video games, or even just listening to podcasts and occupying your brain constantly with something other than your own thoughts, because your own thoughts kind of, you're afraid of your own thoughts, where you're like, man, I really don't want to get into a, you know, some kind of um, a kind of a thought process here, where you just think yourself into craziness, where think yourself into anxiety. You could be, you know, or it happens to people all the time. They're laying down in bed, and they start thinking about insane stuff that could have happened like 20 years ago, that bugged you, or, you know, you're thinking about your future down the road,
Yeah.
and all this kind of stuff. It's because your brain has been so occupied by so much bullshit all day that, where normally you'd be left to your own devices, or left to your own thoughts a little bit more. Uh, but you haven't worked that stuff out, and now it's all hitting you at the time you're trying to relax, and then you're buzzing, and you can't go to get sleep, you know. So um, yeah, it's tricky, man.
It is, yeah. It's funny. I find that in the mornings, I'm like, anything's possible. You know, I'm
Yeah,
like, fucking the
right.
world's my oyster, you
Yeah,
know, and
you sleep
it's
well.
great. No, no, it's getting better. Um, I take like that oil that I made, the
Mm,
MCT cannabis oil. I take that at night and that helps.
right.
But I had an anxiety attack every night I go to bed for like the last 2 years.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a full on falling asleep, jerk awake,
yeah,
like kind of anxiety panic attack.
right.
But it was just like I had a bunch of underlining shit that I had to just fucking get rid of, and
Yeah,
it is getting better. I find just fucking chatting to other dudes about it,
yeah,
like it's it's cool talking to guys about it because they're not like, oh, you know what I mean, where
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, okay, but you know,
yeah,
like you can fucking chat about it and
yeah.
have a real talk.
yeah, we don't feel bad for each other. It's just like, yeah, this is some shit we got to figure out.
Yeah.
Right.
Like every single fucking
problem
person
solve here,
has some shit on the go,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
lifting, that was a good analogy about the pot. But yeah, like just kind of releasing the pressure valve, and it just gets,
Yeah.
it's at the point now, like, I got a couple buddies that are like alcoholics and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we would sit down
Me
and
too.
like have a fucking chat, and like you all feel better. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I find like now, like I'm finally in a good spot where I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that was crazy. I don't ever want to go back there.
Especially since COVID, man, like the amount of quality chats that you have with guys,
Yeah.
like people just getting together and doing things went way down, um, so yeah, I mean, one of my favorite things like about work was just grabbing a coffee with the boys and like just having a chat, drinking a coffee, and that's all you're doing. You're just chatting, and I think how that just went away during COVID. Like so many people just, that's part of their day. You're going out, you're getting out of the house to go do something. Because I think that's important, is just find a reason to get out of the house every day.
Yeah.
Just whatever it is, just get out of the house, go somewhere, do something, and keep on the move a little bit. But if that's part of your routine, just to go grab a coffee and bullshit a little bit. I mean, that's wonders for people, So and a lot of the therapy that people have, at the end of the day, and you think about, okay, well, what did we really accomplish at therapy? And most times it's just you're having this open chat with somebody that's not judging you or whatever. They're just there to to problem solve with you and kind of break down where like these thoughts might be coming from, or how you get in and out of bad thought patterns, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's super important, man, big time. And the other thing, like like jujitsu and all these things, where they make you feel good in the moment, like they're great things, and it's like the physical aspect as well, but then at the same time, you got some underlying stuff that you got to take care of that you've been dodging for a while. Then
Yeah.
you just got to deal with that, at some point. So,
Well,
but
it's one of those things
easier
too,
said than done. Of
yeah,
course, but
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's fun to work out, but like the mental part is like, how do you even fucking do that?
Right.
Like really, and I hate the term fucking mindfulness, but
Mm.
like, yeah, like if I can go in the woods by myself, like
Mhm.
that's like heals my
So how do
fucking
you
soul.
define like mindfulness? Like how?
For me, it's like it's there's so much out there that's like, I don't even know. It's kind of like, it sounds like hippie nonsense,
Mhm.
but like journaling. Like if there's something pissing me off,
Right.
I'll write it out,
Yeah.
and 80% of the time it's just my brain working something up, and then I can fucking let it go,
Mm.
and that's great. Like so, I
Yeah.
just write shit down that pisses me off, walk away, come back and read it,
Right.
or at night I'll meditate before I go to bed.
Yeah.
That helps. I'll put on like ocean sounds.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. We always got the waves crashing
Oh yeah,
for sleeping.
that's a good one. That's a
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah. The waves or the rain or whatever. Yeah. The mindfulness thing is, for me, like I think of it as like you're self-aware enough where you're like analyzing your thought processes, so, and the thought patterns, why does this bother me so much? Like why does a particular thing bother me, or why am I so interested in something that is not giving me any value, as well, like politics, or,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
can get so into the weeds on politics, and it's so toxic, especially in today's era, that, like we've mentioned that before, where you go down this rabbit hole and you see how deep the rabbit hole goes, and how bad some of the corruption is out there and whatnot, and then when you get around your family and you start talking about it, some of it, you sound like you're Eddie Bravo, like, and
Yeah.
and they're like, you've lost your fucking mind, and but you just want somebody to complain with. You know, you're like
Yeah,
a lot of times because it's fun to complain about shit.
it really is.
Yeah.
I get the gossip thing. If you can start
Yeah.
fucking complaining about something together,
Yeah,
it's like,
like cops at work, you love fucking complaining about, you know, everything that's going on. You know, just and that's how you like bond for most part.
yeah,
Saying how fucking stupid everything is. You know.
that's right. Yeah,
But at the same time, you're not like, you know, you're not offering any solutions. Not that they would ever, you know, take you up on any of your solutions, anyways. But just complain more about it, you know. So, but it's, but it feels good in the moment, but it's one of those things that can get toxic pretty quick. Hey,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh man, it's kind of fucked up how good it feels to
yeah,
get lost in the negativity.
yeah.
Yeah,
Rant and rave about some bullshit, and
yeah. It's funny that like I find getting together with your buddies and like breaking each other's balls,
yeah,
like that has like a lasting effect.
mm-hmm,
That's like positive.
mm-hmm,
It's good. You kind of need it,
yeah,
you know, and stuff like that. Like feels kind of gross after
yeah,
if you start, you know, because then you start like at least for me, you start getting worked up a bit. It's like, you
Mhm.
know what, that is fucking bullshit. Like, why are
Yeah.
we doing that? You know?
yeah,
And something I've learned is like I can't really trust my gut, which sucks. But like it's because I can like think something or assume it and then think it's coming from my gut.
right,
Like that person's trying to fuck me over, like, you know,
yeah,
and then it's a thing where it's like you're making yourself deeply unhappy, you know, to
yeah,
be like
yeah,
that.
right,
So it's like, all right, let that shit go. And
Yeah.
it does, it gets so much easier
yeah,
when you like address your bullshit.
yeah,
And,
sure.
and then like, I don't know. It's funny because like I can fucking hide how I'm feeling really well.
yeah,
So I came to Pam before it and I was like, I'm really fucking angry. She's like, no, you're not. I was like, no, I am.
mm-hmm,
She's like, what do you mean? And like, she couldn't believe it.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm white knuckling it. You know, like we go to the mall and someone fucking skips in front of us. I'm
Yeah.
like at 10. you
Oh
know,
man,
so-
like today, like imagine going to Costco right now
Oh,
with a
man.
cart,
yeah.
trying to get around Costco, get in and out of Costco, just grab a few things that you need. Try that and not flip out. You know, like this time of day, brutal, man. Brutal. Traffic jams, just like people eating samples of shit. You know, hove off like eating. Like pigs and blankets, you know, like you know, or like hors d'oeuvres, or eating hors d'oeuvres, man. Like, and you're like, get the fuck out of my way,
Yeah.
you know?
Right in front of the cheese strings, motherfucker.
Yeah, like I swore off like never having like a sample of anything from Costco ever.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, fuck that. I'm not lowering myself to this like kind of snacking kind of bullshit while you're out, you know, for a purpose to try to get some. But that's a whole event for some people.
Oh, dude, they
You
love
know?
it.
Yeah.
They're fucking, oh.
Yeah.
You can see in their face, oh, what do we have?
That's part of their day. Like like if I got to go to Costco, it's like, fuck, I got to go to Costco and pick up something. But other people that are doing that kind of shit, it's like, they're hanging out at Costco today. You know?
Yeah.
So,
We do the school
so
breakfast
worlds
program.
are colliding, you know? What?
Yeah, no, we do the school breakfast program,
What's that?
me and Pam. So we pick up all the breakfast stuff for the kids
Oh,
for school, right?
Yeah.
And it's like two, like, you know, those flats you
Yeah.
see people going around with? It's one of
Yeah.
those and like a full cart. And because where we are, I guess there's not much going on. The fucking baffled looks on people's faces.
Yeah.
You know, I got like 20 boxes of Cheerios and they're like, jeez. Like they
Yeah.
got nothing on the go.
Yeah.
And like that would like get under my skin. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, fucking calm
Yeah.
down. Calm
Yeah.
down. You know, it's
Well, you know, yeah, I don't know. Like, so I would, you know, if I saw you with like 20 boxes of Cheerios on your thing, I'd be like, what the fuck's that guy doing with 20 boxes of Cheerios? You know, what the
Yeah.
fuck's his problem too, right?
That's
Like, you
right.
know, like, was he like a business owner that like, is he running a business where he serves Cheerios to people? Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, because you see sometimes with people that have like insane amounts of like the same kind of stuff, but like that never thought to me that it could be like a school program type
Oh, yeah.
thing or, you know, whatever. But
well, this
yeah,
guy
it's good to know.
came up to me. He was like, what do you guys got all that stuff for?
Yeah.
And I said, we're preparing for the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was like, I was
Yeah.
like, no, it's for the school
Yeah, we have a
breakfast program.
bunker.
Yeah. We're starting a grocery store. Fucking yeah. But it's yeah, no, it is one of those things, and I think a lot of that's normal, especially like Costco's a fucking aggravating, stressful spot.
Yeah, it is.
It's cool because like it's a bunch of other parents that like, so we pick it up and drop it off and they load it up and they're all like a laugh.
Yeah.
So like that part's fun, but going to fucking Costco and getting that shit, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get 10 boxes of apples.
Right.
Like you got some Karen there, like, it's a lot of apples.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we got horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or that whole toilet paper thing when the pandemic went down.
Oh, man.
What was that about?
People shit a lot, it turns out. That's their fear.
No. But like, if at the end of the day, I mean, if you don't have toilet paper, there's a solution to that too, you know? Hop in the shower or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll rinse off.
Oh, man, we got a bidet. That thing, that's got a fucking hollow point on it, man. I can't believe it hits it. It's like I bought it for the missus for Christmas.
Right. There you go.
She opened it up. She was like,
yeah,
trying to tell me something, but
yeah.
Anyway, so
little mutually beneficial gift there.
Oh,
you know?
man,
yeah.
I was excited.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I've always wanted one, you know. So
the one I bought her, you actually like, they sell them at like Kent, and it just, you take your toilet seat off, you hook it up to the water supply, you screw your toilet seat onto it, and this little fucking arm comes out and shoots your poop hole.
Is that like a Japanese? I know like the Japanese are like, they got like some high tech toilets.
I don't know, man. It's magic. Like it finds you, and like you know,
artificial intelligence. Yeah.
It might be. It's
Yeah.
like it looks for the starfish, and it
Yeah.
just boop boop boop.
There it is.
Infrared, because like me and Pam have different body shapes, and it can help us both out. So
yeah, your phone recognizes your face. Your bidet recognizes that.
your asshole.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Jordan's back.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday. So
yeah.
tacos.
Imagine too. It just doesn't work for everybody. It has to unlock, you know, with the special recognition, you know. So yeah,
it's like fingerprint is butthole print.
Yeah,
like, oh,
probably is something to that. As crazy as that is.
But I can't go back.
Yeah.
It's
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, there's no going back after that, for sure.
You feel so much cleaner.
Oh, well, I mean, like you can use this analogy where if you're picking up dog shit outside and you get a bit of dog shit on your arm, are you gonna go inside and get some toilet paper and wipe with dry toilet paper and just wipe that off your arm, call it a day, and
Man, you're right.
and say, yeah, that's my arm's clean now, no big deal? Of course not. You know, so why do you treat your butt the same way?
That's fucking brilliant.
Right.
And
so
that's the creator of shit. So,
yeah. Yeah.
Fuck. Never thought of it that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there you go.
I like it.
New thought process or unlocked for you there to ponder.
I'm using that tonight, like pondering about it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The only thing is it's cold water. So
yeah.
I
don't mind that. I mean, it could be some cold water therapy aspect to it as well.
That's true.
Right?
First thing in the morning, just give it a quick spritz.
Yeah.
Funny too, because like it's got a dial, and the dial is completely wrong because it's 0, 150 basically. So it's like, whoa, like it makes you fucking hop.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like you fucking turn it off. You're like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're talking about going shooting, hey?
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring over one of the rifles that I have. So this is a lever action Smith & Wesson Stealth Hunter. So this is it's in 357 Magnum. This is a new release for Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum. And these lever action guns are getting more popular. These like they have like a modern take on them with the rail. You know, you got an M-lock rail on it, so you can put some attachments on it. So I have a weapon light here. So little flashlights. That's like usually see these on pistols, but it works well on something like this.
Is that one that's like a strobe as well?
No, it doesn't strobe. No.
What is like? I guess the strobe is for motion, where you kind of blind people. Is that?
Yeah, it can disorient people.
Okay.
Or you know, or you need to get somebody's attention. You can strobe. You know, you do that kind of in policing, you know, as well. But not much point of having a strobe light on a rifle, as far as I know. I don't know what the practical use of that would be, but other than disorienting somebody, I guess. But yeah, so this is an Olight So it's got like an interchangeable thing where you can have the laser on it, or just the light, or the light and the laser. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, anything with two hands, you should have a light on it.
Yeah. So so in Canada in particular, this gun is non-restricted. So lever action guns are, I mean, this type of gun has been around since like 1860 something, so they're venerable guns. They work phenomenally, and they're never, I mean, you'd think they're never going to be restricted in any way, so
it's hard to say right now, but
yeah, but it's a great option for 357 Magnum. You can hunt with it, you can hunt deer with it, or other kind of anything smaller than a deer is good.
I wouldn't take down a moose, but
yeah, I mean, you could take down a moose with it, but you're risking not killing it with one shot, which is not obviously good. You don't want the animal to suffer, but so you want to hit a moose with a bigger round. But yeah, this is 357 Magnum, so it shoots 357 Magnum and 38 Special.
See one of those guys?
Yeah, so 38 Special, you got them in, or even Magnums, you got them in revolvers. So you can shoot these rounds out of revolvers or out of this rifle. So there's a lot of practicality with it in that regard. As far as 38 Specials, it's like a cheaper source of ammo, less recoil, softer shooting as well. So anyways, I just got some attachments on this. On the end, I got a muzzle device. This is a blast regulator that pushes all the gas outwards when you're shooting. So it also acts as
so
a
is
bit of
that
a flash
so
lighter.
it doesn't come back at you, or does
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Okay. So this is not a suppressor. Canadians, so it looks like a suppressor, so it looks cool. It has a cool factor to it, but it's just a blast regulator, so it doesn't suppress the sound or anything like that. But and I actually have this on upside down. I don't have the right shims to get it threaded properly, but it's a surefire blast regulator, and so it attaches the fast attached to another surefire muzzle attachment here. This is just a flash hider. So this will reduce the flash signatures and as well as reduce recoil a little bit. So when the gas is being pushed out of the end of the rifle, instead of expanding all at once, it expands in three, because it's 3 prongs. So it expands in 3 different ways. So it creates less recoil that way instead of just all out at one time.
Gotcha.
Less of a flash. So
a flash hider. So when you shoot it, you don't see
it reduces the flash, so doesn't mask it completely, but so they're great, but the so other stuff I got on here, this is just a Blue Force sling, cheap sling, nice to have, obviously. BCM,
man, that is a beautiful
40
gun.
grip, and it's a primary arms optic here. It's just a red dot optic with an ACSS reticle. So the reticle is cool. It has like a little, if you see it, little arrow or little like triangle with the circle around it. So I really like that kind of a reticle.
What would that be like shooting in a house? If
This?
someone came in with a gun and you had to protect your family,
Oh, it'd be great.
would it be like super loud? Like, would you have to put ears on to be able to shoot it in the house? Or
I mean, you wouldn't be worried about putting ears on if somebody's,
fair enough.
But this 357, this is all like with the blast regulator too. That's pushing the sound out more as well. So,
gotcha.
So it reduces that sound coming back and clapping your eardrums as well. But most people that have been in shootings, like they're not even the sound is not something that's even registered for them because they're so in the moment. Their adrenaline spiking, and it's fucking loud. But but this also comes in 44 Magnum and what else? And 30-30, and those are bigger rounds, which would be louder as well.
There's a Bill Burr, not sketch, but bit where he said he talked about shooting like a big pistol. Like you shoot, like someone breaks in and you shoot it, and it's like, you know, and like
Oh
super
yeah,
disorienting. It
Yeah,
really
you-
made me think.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, I got tinnitus or tinnitus or whatever the hell it's called, like a ringing in my ears a lot, you know, from all the shooting I've done over the years. But so that's that. I mean, the best way to describe it is just like a high pitched like ringing in your ear. If you ever watched like Saving Private Ryan, or even if you're playing Call of Duty or something, and like an explosion goes off and they make that sound effect of that high pitched kind of ringing, that's pretty much what that sounds like. So
do you have that constantly?
not constantly. Depending on the day, I feel like I get it a lot at night. I feel like if my blood pressure is high, I know. I know when my blood pressure is high because I have it as
Really?
well.
Okay, buddy. Sorry, he's Roman's in the mood here. All right, sit down, buddy.
Yeah, he wants attention from the dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, this is a great option for anybody's in Canada.
You want to have a look?
Yeah. This is a turbine attachment here, right? It's I just got this on Amazon, but it's really nice quality. You can hold some rounds in it.
It looks very fancy. The whole setup looks like a tactical dream. It's like
yeah.
It's
Well,
funny.
it's just it's very practical. Like, it's a lot of fun to shoot. Like if you're at the range, there's something about shooting a lever action and then cycling the rounds out. There's something about that that's just it touches into like your inner kind of
like a
man, you know?
very visceral,
Yeah.
satisfying feeling.
Yeah, so looks great with that primary arms optic and
Man. It's,
and the whole thing, you know.
so, would you recommend this over a shotgun for home defense?
Um,
I feel like such a poser.
Yeah,
with
I
the-
mean, yeah, I mean, the thing you got to be worried about shotgun is you're accountable for every single projectile that comes out of that weapon, right? So when you fire a shotgun like 00 buck and you got 8 or 9 pellets coming out, you know, those pellets when they shoot out, sometimes they even bump into each other as they're coming out, and you'll have like a stray pellet that will be like a bit off of like the whatever the other grouping was. So so it can get a little bit dicey in a house, and when you have a pump action shotgun and you're in a high stress situation, you got to really make sure you rack that action. And if you short stroke it, then you're gonna have a jam as well. That could fuck you up. So I would say this is probably easier to use under duress than a shotgun. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Somebody else might have a different opinion, but shotguns are great, man. Shotguns are, there's nothing wrong with shotguns. You know, there's so much utility to shotguns.
yeah.
Whether it's a slug in a shotgun, 00 buck bird shot, you know.
The buck is a single wad, is it? Or does that also spray?
So the wadding, like, you know, so the buck has the pellets in it, so 8 to 9 pellets in wadding. And the slug is like a 1 ounce, like rifled round, you know, that it's a big projectile that comes out. And birdshot is like, it's like 100 pellets or something like that, little pellets in the wadding. And then, so the idea about birdshot is that there's so much stuff that comes out that when you're shooting at that bird, chances are it's going to hit that bird because you got so much of it. Easier to lead with, like, as you're following the bird, easier to lead with the bird shot, because if you just have like one round and you're trying to hit a bird with it, super tough. But if you shoot out this spray, then all a bird needs is one of those little pellets to hit it, and it's toast. You know,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bigger chance of hitting it.
Yeah. But anyways, this is they're just really fun guns to do a lot with. They're very, very practical.
It's beautiful. It's like, I guess with all the black and the skeleton frame and everything, it looks very menacing. But it looks like a blast to shoot.
Yeah, it's tactical, dude. Yeah, you know. So yeah, but people would look at this, like, people that aren't like gun people, like that's their whole. That's the thing. Like they see this here, this rail, and this handguard, and if that was wood and not that, then it would look much less threatening to a lot of people. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it looks like an assault rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not. It's not. It's just this magazine. Like holds like 8 or 9 rounds in the magazine. So just a great option for anything.
It's beautiful, man.
Nice rifle. So I'm really happy with the quality of it. Smith & Wesson. I'm a Smith & Wesson fan. Love a lot of the stuff they make. Even though the RCMP pistol I carried for years was a Smith & Wesson, and I thought that pistol was a piece of shit, and I hated that. But Smith & Wesson makes really good shit. And this is the first time they've made a lever action in like 100 years or something. But they're getting popular, so they're coming back in style. So I wanted to nab it before too many people get interested. So yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's beautiful. I actually got a Smith & Wesson knife that I bought that wasn't that great, but they've been making guns for years. Knives are kind of new for them, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've hit 25,000 views last week.
Nice.
So
cool.
Thank you everybody for that. Checking us out.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to shoot some guns at the range. I got some more guns we can go over and test out. I got a shotgun, got a rifle.
Whatever you want to bring over.
Got a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.